If you want to learn how easy it is to use Panpastels for an underlayer, this video is just for you. Now, Panpastels, the tools, there's lots of different types. Okay, as I said, this is not a beginner lesson, so I'm not going into this deeply. I've got loads of lessons like that. So we've got these things, they call them knives. I call them little shovels. Okay, you've got those, you've got these, what looks like makeup applicators. Try some cheap ones out. Try some of the Panpastel ones out, see what you get on with better. And then off screen, because as I said, I can't get everything to fit on the screen at once. Although I will actually see if I can get the mixing bit here a bit closer for you to start with. I've got that. That's just printer paper, standard paper, nothing special at all, the cheapest you can buy. And then I'll be going in the Panpastels. Let me just organize things. So I've got kind of a tray by the side of me where these sit in, and then I'll just be using, just dipping in like that. I rub it on the paper because that helps to take a lot of excess off, and I can use this as a mixing palette as well. Excuse my head a minute, right. So that's the paper. See how much thinner that is than the card. All these papers got slightly different colour, a little bit of variation in there. And then you can get a little cut off like this, give it a test, put it up to your drawing. Are you happy with it? Well, up to the reference, sorry, not the drawing, okay? And that's how I work through it. I've got a 45-minute video or more showing how to mix and match colours. I've done a couple of others that show it at the beginning. As I said, this is not a complete beginner type of lesson, but that's the process I've got going on. And what I think I'd like to do straight off, as the paper's brown, the donkeys are roughly brown, let's separate them from this background. Let's put some of that green in place. Now I may well do that background later on with pastel sticks. I think that'd be interesting for you to see. And pastel sticks are much more opaque. You can see as I'm putting this Panpastel on, just concentrating a second. Can you see the lines, the transfer lines straight through it? It's not very opaque. They look opaque in these tubs, these tins, but they're not particularly opaque. Now pastel sticks are really opaque, so they'll cover that better. Okay, I could do the background, don't get me wrong, with just pans, but the sticks I think are going to cover it better, and they're also easier to get a smooth appearance. And I can use these tools with the sticks. Okay, so I'm recording the audio and the video live. I'm not doing a voiceover. Now I've invested in new microphones, and we've also got a new camera going at the moment. I burnt the other one out. I wore it out doing so many videos. So the image quality is much improved. See how that's bringing that from the background straight away. Straight away. But yeah, the pastel sticks, I'll be able to put this background in more opaquely with them. So as I said, what you're hearing are my thoughts as I'm thinking of them. Things may change as I get there. I may possibly carry on with Panpastels instead. Who knows? Up here it's much darker. I can get some of the pan black in there. Mix it a little bit with the green. See how I mix it like a painting palette. I will eventually go up there. think of your finances with pans as well. If you don't want to spend out on them, you don't have to spend out on them. Up here, it's going to go much lighter. If you're on a budget, I would say get yourself a set of Rembrandt half sticks. Okay, so pastel sticks are quite long. They're about that long. Half sticks, as you would imagine, are half the size. But what we generally do with the big pastel sticks anyway, or I do, is snap them in half when they're new, because they're easier to hold and handle. And all these tools are just tools. We want them to work for us, not just look pretty in a set. I know it's hard after you've spent some money to think, oh, I'm going to snap them now, they look so nice. But what I'm saying is, if you buy the half sets, then you get a lot more colours for the same price. So a half set of, say, 30 would cost you the same as like a full whip set of, say, 15, so you get a lot more colour for your money. And they're the right size, don't have to snap them. Let's pull off that paper in a moment and see what's going on, because I think that's enough green, especially if I'm going to go over that with pastel sticks. So straight away you can see, because of the brown paper, Donkey's standing out. Already looks pretty three-dimensional because he's got the lights and darks, paper colours acting as his brown fur, and we've got that separation of the donkey from the background with that quick layer of green. Let's pop this back on. Don't really want the green now if I'm going to be doing the nose or something, so I'll just fold that over, pop that there. I think you can all see it if I check the camera. Obviously I'm at a bit of an angle drawing to stay out the way of the screen. Right, so what should I work on next? Doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter. I know where the lights are going to live. The green is going to help me judge the tonal values. That's the lights and the darks. I could go straight in with a nice light on this top part. I could do that, or I could start going in with a brown. Oh, what do I fancy? I could go in with this straight away, I think. It's almost got a bit of a purpley colour to it. So this purple is quite powerful. Be careful with some colours. You know, don't forget, if you want, do your little test pieces, cut these into strips. See, it's actually quite a warm colour. Just put a bit of pink in that white. Perhaps not that much, but not that far off. The pink I'm using, just for those who like to know these things, permanent red tint. Put a little white in there as well. When I'm not talking, I'm thinking. And I'm sure my wife Catherine will say I probably don't think enough. She thinks I talk a lot, especially when we're in the car, and she can't actually escape me. But when you're locked in the studio, you artists know the score. And when you come out of the studio, it's probably a little bit like being in prison, and you come out and all of a sudden you want to talk to everybody. Not that I know what it's like being in prison. Right, so let's just pop a bit of that up there. As it comes down, it gets darker, purpler, more purple, more dirty looking. You see things like the very fine line there? That's easier to do with a pencil, isn't it? Because I've got more control over the tip of a pencil than I have this. It goes quite light there, a bit light out there as well. This is more for your general colours. If you're struggling with what you need to do, squint at the reference. All these things I'm telling you, it'll be very familiar for those who followed me for a long time. I tell you on all the videos because it's really important. Squint your eyes, that's reducing the amount of detail that you're seeing. I'm not concerned at all about the lines and things in there. That's going to be easy to do later on when I've got the pencils working. When I want to clean the tool, just go one direction. On something like one of these, you know, quite rough microfiber cloths. Put my finger on top like that, otherwise the sock just flicks off. Do that. Do the edges as well. Let's get a different colour going, see if we can get a bit of that richness. If you're in danger of losing important areas in your drawing, like that cheek line, that recess, get your pencil, re-establish it. Same here. Let's re-establish that. I don't want to lose it. So that will come up in there. It's quite darkish behind. Same with the nostrils. I've got the benefit of the transferred line. Let's not lose it. If you was doing sticks instead of the pans, be a bit more careful, okay? Because it's so opaque, you are obviously more prone to losing your lines. We can come on top then, refine it. That's going to be nice dark straight line there. So see the tip of my pencil? See how it's still quite sharp? That's those angles that I'm using, like this. You will eventually need to sharpen your pencil, of course, but it's going to be a lot less than going in at a straight angle. Got his wonky lip going, the wonky donkey lip. So let's show where that cuts off, like that. So it's going to be really darker on there, make that eye stand out. Looks like it's got makeup on, and eyeliner, and all those things going on. Let's add into that funny effect. Wonderful personalities on these donkeys when we saw them. They really seemed to like the human contact. These were all rescue donkeys, come from all different places over the world. They're doing a fantastic job down in Cornwall. Giving these donkeys, many of them were working donkeys or they were neglected, And down in Cornwall, they've created this sanctuary with hundreds of donkeys who are literally living their best lives down there now. They're very, very fortunate. It could have worked out so much different for them. Okay, this comes around, and that then is going to go, as you can see, like that. You've got to be thinking with a reference photo. You've got to think, which direction is this fur and hair going in? Because it describes the shape of the musculature underneath. I say a lot of my videos. We've got a shape and a form under there. It's our job as the artists to make it look realistic on a flat surface. Okay, now that's the problem we got. But the printers managed to do it. If the printer can do it, I don't see any reason why we can't do it. And that's the challenge. That's what I love about art. It's not, for me, the putting it up on a wall, displaying it, having loads of people saying how great it is, and all that. That's nice, don't get me wrong. But for me, it's all about the challenge. Can I actually do it? Can I make these donkeys look three-dimensional on a flat piece of paper? The underlayer is certainly one of my favourite stages. I used to love it with oil painting as well. It's very, very similar. As I said, it all happens quite quickly, then it slows down as you start doing details on top. Now, as you can imagine, this is just a very, very short highlighted video of my full lesson. I've got literally hundreds and hundreds of hours worth of lessons, lots of different subjects over on my Patreon channel. So if you'd like to take your art to the next level, I hope to see you there real soon.